Hey, if you're still a network marketer who is using prospecting as a method, the method to build your network marketing business, this video is for you, because I'm going to talk about yet another big problem with prospecting and the reason that you might be struggling. So if we haven't met, my name is Arita. I'm a former struggling network marketer, and I was struggling because I hated prospecting. It didn't work for me because it didn't feel right. I felt guilty about chasing people, about approaching them with my stuff, and it was a big problem for me, but it got solved when I found a way to get my ideal prospects to come to me instead. And I'm talking about that stuff here at VIE now. And if you would like to discover how to recruit people without having to prospect and chase anyone, without having to feel weird all the time, grab my 3-step formula at viesnow.com/3 steps. Today I'm going to talk about the second problem with prospecting. I talked about a very big problem, probably the biggest problem with prospecting last week. So if you want to grab that video, go ahead. But today I'm going to talk about a second, also a very big problem with prospecting, and it's the problem that comes from the false belief or the false advice that we networkers are given still by our upline, and it's the common belief in the industry. And I'm not sure where it comes from. Probably, I'm guessing, probably it comes from the need of whoever recruits us, enrolls us, to give us a false sense of hope that it's easy and that, everyone can do it and so on. So, by the way, about everyone can do it, I'm going to talk in maybe even next week. I'll see. But today I'm going to talk about the second biggest problem, I believe, with prospecting. Now, let me ask you a question. Are you in the market for a new fridge? Or are you in the market for a new oven? Or for a new car? Or for a new house? Or even for a new plant for your home? Or for a new book? Are you? Well, probably not. And guess what? Your prospects are also not in the market for, most likely, not in the market for something that you are approaching them with. They might not be in the market for the vitamins you're selling. They might not be in the market for the weight loss stuff you're selling. They might not be in the market for any information that you have and want to share with them. They don't need it at that point. They don't want it. However, there's a catch, right? There is a catch. And this is, I think, that catch that I'm going to talk about right now is probably the biggest problem. The second kind of a point about this problem. And so the first problem is that the expectation is that when you approach somebody with your stuff, they need it. And yes, most people, generally speaking, they need a fridge, they need an oven, they need everyone needs a home, and so on. Most people need a book, but based on how they but not just yet, right? Not just yet. At the moment, they're not in the market because they don't need it or they don't want it right now. But the catch is that they might want it or need it at some point later. So the second problem with prospecting is that in prospecting, we are taught to say to somebody who says no, next. We have this word, next. They tell us this word, next. Okay, they told you no, move on to the next person. That other person told you no, move on to the next person, and so on. So basically, the chance that somebody needs or wants your stuff right now is very, very, very slim. But that doesn't mean that they're not gonna want or need that stuff at some point later. Now, when we follow the advice to move on to the next person and stop talking to the previous person, we lose them. We lose them. So every single time we do prospecting, we are approaching these strangers who we hope wants our stuff right now. And it's a known fact in the marketing world overall that 5% conversion is very good. If you can get 5% of people from those, all the people you talk to buy your stuff, that is considered good. So that means you need to talk to 100 people to get 5 people to buy from you. And it just doesn't make sense, and it's way too much work. And I mean, that is okay if you're doing it automatically. But that's not okay if you are doing it manually. That's way too much work, and that's why most network marketers burn out, get tired, exhausted, sick of approaching people, sick of rejection, sick of hearing no. But what smart marketers know, that if they talked to somebody already, they need to keep those people in their circle. So when the timing is right, when the time comes for these people that said no, if your product is some sort of a generic product, supplements, somebody that really kind of everybody needs, especially, you still need to keep building and deepening, strengthening relationships with these people. Now, I know there is no way you can be spinning conversations with all these people you talk toward all the whole time you are in this business, one-on-one basis. So that's a tough part of this, but there are ways to do it much easier. There are ways to talk to people on one-to-many basis. And obviously, generally in marketing, marketers collect people's email addresses and they send emails. That's the other way. And by the way, more efficient way. The other fact that smart networker or marketers know is that the easiest customers are those who've already bought from us. So even with these people, you need to still keep building the relationship. Just because somebody bought once, you can't expect them to buy again. You still need to be in front of them all the time. And so again, you need to keep building these relationships with these people too. It's not a case of, this person said no, so let's move on to the next person and forget about the first person. Yes, we do it if this first person is just negative, has these crazy objections and so on. Of course, not everyone. Still, we don't want everyone and anyone around us. But if this person generally is okay and generally would be in the market, let's say if this person has a fridge, so he's a proven fridge buyer. So obviously, the only thing that's needed is the timing. But if you disappear from their site, at the point when they decide to get a new fridge, they're not going to remember about you. That's why you need to stay in front of them. And it can be, when we talk about a fridge, it's a sort of an extreme example, because how many fridges do we buy in general, but if it's a more consumable kind of thing, the timing can be right even in a month or so. But you need to be in front of these people all that duration on a regular basis, otherwise they're not going to remember about you. So it's not that advice, okay, they said no, move on to the next person, forget about this one. No, that's the wrong way. That causes you to work more when you don't have to. And people buy much, much easier from you if you actually are in front of you. They have you at the top of their mind. They know that you can help them. Let's talk about the fridge example. How can you stay on top, in front of these people who can potentially be in the market for a new fridge at some point? How? Well, give them content about fridges. Give them content about how to organize the fridge, how to keep it clean, maybe what accessories to get for the fridge, maybe how to fix certain common issues, and so on. That's how you stay in front of them. So that when the time is right for them to get a new fridge, they think about you first. And they come to you asking. You don't even have to sell to these people. If you do the rest, the other piece right, you don't have to even sell to these people anything. They will come to you by themselves. So do not forget about the people who once said no, and I know some networkers realize that, but they're not very strategic about that. I had somebody yesterday, somebody who was prospecting me about actually earlier than a year ago. We had a lengthy conversation, we had a nice conversation, but then he was prospecting me, and he was prospecting me about travel business and so on. Then lockdown happened. Then and yesterday he contacted me again asking me, and I only remembered that name only because that person is in Ireland like me, and we had a very long conversation, but in between I never heard from him. Never. So again, he needs to start from scratch building that relationship with me to get my interest. Now, I have my own stuff, so I'm not interested in anything else anyway, but if I was, or if the timing was right for me, if I had quit or something like that, now this person, all that duration wasn't what we weren't talking. I had no clue what he was doing. So now he needs to start talking to me again. And that's just way too much work, and it doesn't have to be that way. Okay? And again, it's not one-on-one basis. You just post helpful content about your stuff, the information, without even pitching or anything, So anyway, so I hope you got the idea. I hope this video was useful, and if it was useful, grab my 3-step formula to recruit new team members without actually facing issues like that. That process fixes these kind of issues. And you can find it at viesnow.com/3steps. Did I say that already? Anyway, thanks very much for watching. It's a new week. It's bright and sunny in Ireland, believe it or not. It's crazy. It doesn't happen very often recently at all. But anyway, it feels better straight away. I hope you are having a good day. Enjoy your week, and I'll talk to you soon again. Bye now.